Alright guys, so we are on our 2007 Jeep Wrangler, and I'm getting ready to take this whole instrument bezel out so that I can replace the power window switches and the background lighting for the HVAC controls. And just to give you a better idea, let me block the light. You can see right here where these are the only background icons, I guess, or symbols that you can see. Nothing over here, nothing over here. You can see. It's nighttime. I waited to nighttime to film this segment just to show you how dim the instrument panel actually is. And then in the morning, whenever it's bright out and the sun's up, we're going to start taking this apart, and I'll show you how easy it is to do. Anyway, until then. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and take out this HVAC module and start a separate video replacing the LED backlighting because the backlighting's not working. Anyway, let's get after it. Okay guys, so I just noticed when I was editing the video and piecing everything together that apparently my camera had shut off whenever I was pulling these knobs off. And taking the HVAC control panel out is no big deal. Once you get the whole bezel out, you got the 4 screws and then the whole panel comes out. But getting the knobs off can kind of be a pain if you don't do it right. So I'm going to try to show you with it all installed. I don't want to have to take this back out just to show you how to get the knobs off. And all I use, and this has been successful for me, and I have not messed up anything. But if you take 2 screwdrivers, now this is a little, it's actually a little miniature pry bar, but 2 regular screwdrivers will work just fine. And if you get a screwdriver on each, come over here and get up underneath one side of it, and then come over here and get on underneath the other side. And what you do is you just work you just work them both together. And eventually that knob will pop right off there. So let's do another one. Hopefully you can see this good. Get under there real good and just pry back and forth. And if it doesn't want to really pop loose, turn it a little bit, try it again. And there it goes. So they're not really that difficult to get off. They're a little bit easier whenever it's obviously not installed in the vehicle, but that's all you're looking at. It's just a little plastic knob that's got a little detent that whenever it's snapped on that you've got to overcome. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how to get the knobs off because I noticed the darn camera had shut off for some reason. I don't know if I hit the button or what. Alright, on with the rest of the video. Alright, I'm not sure what happened. I think my camera shut off. Looks like it's got plenty of battery, so hopefully you saw all that. Now, once you've got the knobs off here, it gets even easier. All you got to do is stick a screwdriver up underneath here. Just kind of give it a little pry like that. Make sure I put my fingers right here. When I flip it over, I'm going to do the same thing. And that whole face will come off. Now, a little tip, don't touch the little black carbon buttons there, because if you get oil and grease on them, that interrupts the contact whenever you push it, and it hits the little copper pads right there. Sometimes it'll be a intermittent connection. So at this point I want to go ahead and pull this up out of here, and that's the inner workings of the Jeep Wrangler control knob module. And this is what you got to look at right here. I'll let you get part numbers. If you want to get the part numbers off this, made by TRW. Where are some numbers? There's some numbers there. There's some numbers. just in case you want to order, if you can order just this piece here. I don't know if you can or not. You may be able to. But as you can see these bulbs right here. This one, and this one. They're very black. They don't work. That's what lights up the backlighting of these buttons here, so that you can see, you know, what button you need to push. And then you've also got little LEDs, this one, and this one. Now the LEDs I don't think ever burn out. Those are what lights up when you push the button. That's what lights up and lets you know that it is active. And then your backlighting are these incandescent bulbs right here. You got 4. Got this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we're going to replace all 4 of these with LEDs, and then we're going to replace these 3 here with LEDs. And that should liven this panel back up. So let me get this mounted up and we're going to start. Okay, so before I get started soldering, what I did was I put this back in the truck and I took a multimeter and I verified which leg was positive, which leg was negative. These incandescents don't care. You can put those in either way. They're going to work. LEDs, on the other hand, are polarity sensitive. They are a diode, after all. So you need to know which is positive, which is negative. So I've marked this out. You guys might want to take a look, because they're different, except for these 3 are kind of standardized. But so on this one, you've got the negative up top here, you got the positive down here. On this one, the negatives over on the left, positives, whoops, negatives over here on the left, positives right here on the right. This one over here, the positive is on the left, the negative is on the right. And then this one, the negative is on the left, positive is on the right. Now on these little LEDs here, and of course this fits in the truck like this, the positive are all the ones that's facing, you know, outboard, I guess. So positive, 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 then the negative, negative, negative. So just keep that in mind. I'll give you another shot, upper corner, that one, and that one, and then the 3 smaller ones. So I'm going to start unsoldering these, and once I get them all unsoldered, then I'm going to solder in the new ones. And let me show you what the new LEDs look like. Now they are not specific to this truck. These are a LED that I found from another video, and I'll put a link to that video in the description, of a guy that he already had modified his, and he had found these LEDs and the others that I'm going to use for these. So hopefully they end up working all right. Now this is what this one looks like. All you got to do, these are normally bent down like that. Just take your fingernail, bend them up, and then just kind of push on them. Pull it out like that. Now that resistor, I tested these. That resistor does have to be there. I hooked my power supply up to it, up after the resistor on both sides, and the LED lit up. I put 14.5 volts on it because that's roughly what the alternator puts out, and I'm not sure exactly if the voltage going to this is regulated or not. So I don't know if it's going to get full alternator voltage or if it's going to be regulated right at 12 volts. So I put 14.5 volts on it just to be on the safe side. The LED lasted about 4.5 hours before it burned out. So I took another one. I ordered a box. You get 20 of these in a box. So there's more than enough to experiment with. Then I took another one. I put my power supply on it before the resistor. That way the power is going through the resistor. And I left it on there for 24 hours solid, and it was still going strong. So unfortunately this resistor does have to stay in there, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult, but there's plenty of room on these 4 that we're going to use these for, to where it shouldn't be a problem. So let me get the first one soldered in, and we'll see how this is going to work. And I did verify with my power supply. I believe I'm going to have to redo this now because I did this yesterday. I think the side with the diode is the positive. I'm going to have to double check that before I actually make the connection. Might actually be marked there. I can't tell if that's a mark of a positive and a negative or not. But anyway, let me get started here. Got the soldering station set up, and I think the easiest way to do this, it looks like, I'm just going to put some pressure, kind of pulling that way as I hit this with the, oh yeah, that's going to be easier than I thought. Now I'm just pushing it this way, and it's off there. So that's what you got for that. So now let me verify the positive and negative on this 100%, and then we're going to get it soldered in, and then we'll plug it into the dash just to see if it's going to work okay. Alright guys, so I did verify the side with the resistor is the positive side, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not, but you do have a little positive right there by that leg, and a little negative right there by that leg. So what I'm going to do to make this just a little bit easier, I'm going to snip off just a little bit of this, and then I'm going to do what they call tinning. And all that consists of is just taking a little piece of solder and we're just going to solder this leg right there. Now remember, positive to positive. And I'm going to let that ride up just like that. I think this cover, I was looking at the cover, and the cover looks like it's got all kinds of room. Now if you needed it a little lower, in fact let's see if I could do that. I'm thinking you could probably just twist it around and push down on it. In fact, I might just leave it about right there. I'm going to go plug it in, verify it works. If it does, I'm going to press on with the other four. Okay, I just kind of got it piggybacked here in the Jeep. And I just want to show you the difference between the nice green LED and this yellowish incandescent. So hopefully, whenever this has got all LEDs in it that are this green right here, hopefully it's going to make that instrument panel look a lot nicer. I don't know if the camera's really doing it justice. There's that yellowish white incandescent. There's that nice green LED. So I'm going to be curious to see what it looks like whenever it's all put together. Alright, let's press on with getting these LEDs changed out. Okay, so I've got those out of their little holders. I'm just going to tin the legs. This just makes it a lot easier, guys. Whenever you're soldering components together, you don't have to actually hit it with solder while you're holding the component. Remember, the resistor is the positive side. Alright, that one broke off. That one broke on. I thought I pulled on one of these a little hard, and it felt like it kind of pulled loose. it's probably not a good idea to twist these a whole lot. I broke 2 of them so far. It always tends to be the one with the resistor. Is that right? No. It always tends to be the side that does not have the resistor. It pops right off that piece there. So I'm not going to twist them any more than I have to get them to kind of lay the way I need. That's about all you need to do right there. Alright, so there's those 4 soldered in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to plug this in, kind of put this up to the way it goes, and we're going to see what it looks like in the day. It's of course it's daylight, so I don't know if I'm going to really be able to see a whole lot, but I'm going to at least verify that these 4 work, and then we're going to go after these 3 here. All 4 are working fine, so the next 3 are these. Okay guys, I got these 4 LEDs soldered in. They look great. There's a problem that is kind of odd to me that Jeep would have done this, but so here's the top bezel that goes on. So when that's on, you can see that you've got a light here that's going to light up, you know, like around this part. You got a light here that's going to throw light over here on this part. You got a light up here that's going to light up the top part of this and part of this blue. Then you got this LED down here that's going to light up the blue down here. But you don't really have anything over here for the red. See what I mean when that goes on? It's almost like there should be another LED over here on the side just to give that red some light. Now there's plenty of room down in here, as you can see. It's just a big hollow cavity. So I think I'm going to go one extra step. Hopefully this does not pose any problems. But I'm going to try to put one of these LEDs over here. And what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to try to do, is I've got a piece of stiff copper wire. I'm just going to solder onto both these legs and then solder the LED on here. And since this is stiff, I'm hoping it'll just kind of hang out right here and give even more light to this bezel. So I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, so I've got my little extended LED over there, as you can see. That's for the red. Hopefully that'll help light that up a little bit more. This LED lights up this blue okay, but that red would barely light up, so I don't know if that's going to actually help or not, but I put it on there. So at this point I'm going to take these little LED, actually these are incandescent bulbs. I'm going to desolder them, and I've got to wait for Amazon to deliver the 3mm. They're supposed to be coming today, and as soon as they get here, we are going to get those put on. So again, I'm just going to put some pressure coming this way and see if I can get up underneath that and see if I can desolder that. There it is. There's that one. I'll do this one next. Try not to burn myself. Alright. So as soon as those other LEDs show up, then we'll get those soldered on here, and then we're going to see what this looks like. Alright guys, so Amazon just showed up. with their little bag of LEDs. Now these are 12 volt rated LEDs. You can't just put any LED on a 12 volt board. So this is what they look like, and they obviously would have to have a resistor built into them for them to work on a 12 volt board. So we're going to get 3 of these little guys. I think this was a pack of 50. So they're pretty cheap. Now again, these are polarity sensitive, and you'll notice that one leg is longer than the other. The long leg is the positive leg, so we got to keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do, so this is going to have to be soldered, the long leg is going to be soldered to the positive, short leg to the negative, but obviously I've got to cut these off. And I want this to stand up, you know, straight. So I've got to keep the orientation right. Once I snip them off, I'm going to snip them off flush so that whenever they're soldered, you know, it's going to stand straight up. I just got to make sure that I don't get it, you know, messed up. In fact, I might be able to. Yeah, maybe not. That's not really working out, is it? So let's just do this. I'm just going to hold them in my hand. Let me get a piece of solder going here. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and tin this just like this. Get off there. Alright, good enough. Little flush cut dikes. And I think that right there will probably be good. I'm just going to hold it straight on the board. Make sure I don't bridge that connection. And that's it. That's about, I think, as high as the original light. And you got quite a bit of space in there. So that's going to sit down just like that. So that should work. Now, as long as I didn't get my orientation goofed up, we should be good. I think about right there looks good. I'm just going to take a 50-50 chance at it. Okay. Again, the way I'm holding it, the long leg towards me. Got a wasp flying around me right now, so I'm trying to be careful not to get stung. Let me desolder this. Okay. Alright, all the LEDs are soldered on. I'm going to plug this in, make sure these work. And there it is. So all of them appear to work. So now we just got to snap this thing back together. And just so you know, to get this thing to light up, I'm just plugging in the small connector on the back of the board. So let's get this thing put back together. Alright, so now it's time to put her back together, which hopefully will be a pretty simple ordeal. Now again, the little copper pads there, where these little carbon pads touch, make sure that you don't touch those. Because what happens is your oil from your fingers get on them, and then you end up having intermittent contact. See, I think that, yeah, that's everything. And you can see the added on, let me get a light, the added on LED that I put down in there, it's still away from everything. So hopefully it'll help light this red up, but yet still able to turn the you know, the shaft. And I think all these are the same. So I don't think it matters. Yeah, I don't think it matters which ones go where. So just snap them on. Make sure they turn free. Everything seems to feel normal. Just so you know how this works. Alright, let's get back in the truck and get this put back together. Alright guys, so we're in the Jeep. It's not quite dark yet, but it's dark enough to where you should be able to see the effect of these LED backlights. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights on, and there they are. Pretty much all lit up, real nice and green and bright. And you can see we can even see the red right here from that one LED that I added. Before, even when these lights worked, you couldn't ever see the red. I guess they figured that if you can see the green and you know where the green is, then obviously if you keep turning it, the red's going to be over here. But I mean, it's nice to be able to see all your backlighting. Anyway, and of course your button LEDs, you know, are the little LEDs that we did not change, that, and they you know, they never burn out. Anyway, that's it. Looks good. Hopefully it'll last a long time. Anyway, just wanted to show you the after and how it works. And obviously I've got my two LEDs up here for the window switches. So now whenever I reach up at night, I know where I'm where at least the front windows are. And then of course, if you know where the front ones are, then you're going to know where the rear ones are. Anyway, I'm done. You guys take care.